Hello friends, I'm Ann, someone who has spent many years turning kitchen scraps into organic fertilizer, what we often call compost. I believe that every vegetable peel, every fruit left over, holds a hidden spark of life. With a little care, they can become a wonderful source of nourishment for our small gardens. But there's one reality that leaves many people confused, even discouraged. It's when our compost bin becomes a magnet for unwanted guests. Rats. I know, just hearing that word makes many of us shiver. Rats don't just ruin the composting process, they create foul odors and can even pose risks to our family's health. So, why do rats show up? Is compost itself naturally attractive to them, or are we unknowingly making mistakes that invite them in? Today, I want to share with you 7 common mistakes that make rats come to your compost bin. These lessons come not only from my own experience over the years, but also from real stories of friends, neighbors, and even simple research that anyone can apply. Let's go step by step, slowly, and see if any of these sound familiar in your composting journey. Mistake number 1, adding meat or fish to your compost. Picture this. It's evening, you've just cooked dinner, and there are some leftover fish bones or chicken skin. You think, why not toss it into the compost? It'll turn into fertilizer anyway. But the next morning, you hear scratching sounds in the garden. When you lift the lid, a foul stench hits your nose, and you notice signs of rats having visited. Meat, fish, bones, or any animal products are like a sweet invitation for rats. Unlike vegetables, fruit, and leaves, which decompose easily and don't tempt them much, meat and fish are full of protein and fat, irresistible to rodents. To them, your compost bin becomes a free buffet. A friend of mine in Bin Duong once complained that after just a few weeks of tossing chicken bones into his compost, not only rats, but stray cats and dogs were showing up. The bin that was supposed to nourish the soil became a potential breeding ground for disease. Scientifically, adding meat or fish also upsets the carbon to nitrogen balance, slowing down decomposition and producing putrid smells instead of that fresh, earthy aroma of good compost. So remember, compost works best with plant-based materials. Veggie scraps, fruit peels, dry leaves. When in doubt, ask yourself, will this smell appealing to rats when it rots? If the answer is yes, keep it far away from your compost bin. Mistake number 2. Leaving the compost bin uncovered. Here's a mistake many people make without realizing it: not closing the lid tightly. Think about it. An uncovered bin is like a house with the doors wide open all night. Anyone can walk in, and rats certainly won't miss the chance. I knew a friend in Dalat who loved growing her own vegetables. She thought compost should breathe naturally, so she left the lid open. Within just a few days, she found that an entire rat family had moved in. Instead of nourishing the soil, her bin had become a rodent shelter. Now, yes, compost does need oxygen to decompose properly, but that doesn't mean leaving the lid wide open. Modern compost bins are designed with ventilation holes to keep air flowing. If you don't have one of those, you can simply drill small holes, enough for air, but not for animals. Ask yourself this: have you ever forgotten to lock your house door at night? Did you feel safe? Compost works the same way. Closing the lid doesn't just protect your compost, it protects your garden and your home from foul odors and rat infestations. Mistake number 3. Placing the compost bin too close to your kitchen. Imagine a light breeze carrying cooking aromas out of your kitchen. What do you think happens? Rats have a sense of smell dozens of times stronger than ours. If your compost bin is too close to the kitchen or cooking area, you've basically created a scent trail leading them straight to your food sources. I once visited a family in Hanoi. They kept their compost bin right outside the back kitchen door, convenient for tossing scraps. But within weeks, they noticed rat tracks around the kitchen, and even rats trying to sneak inside. Scientifically, compost already has its own smell: earthy, organic, sometimes pungent. Place that too close to the kitchen, where fresh food is readily available, And rats won't just stop at the bin. They'll explore your kitchen too. My advice: keep the compost bin at least 15 to 20 meters away from the kitchen. Or if space is limited, create a barrier like a wall or fence. It's a small adjustment that can save you from sleepless nights. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night to a rat scurrying through the kitchen? No one wants to relive that experience, and often it can be prevented by something as simple as moving the bin. Mistake number 4, not lining the bottom of the bin. Many people place compost bins directly on soil, thinking it helps with decomposition. But did you know that leaving the bottom open is like giving rats a secret underground tunnel straight into your bin? I once saw a farmer in the Mekong Delta discover a neat little tunnel running right from the soil up into his compost bin. Rats are natural diggers. They don't need to climb when they can burrow their way in. From a technical perspective, lining the bottom doesn't just stop rats, it also stabilizes moisture and temperature. You can use bricks, wire mesh, or even a wooden base. These materials allow drainage while creating a barrier against rodents. Think of it like building a house. Would you ever leave it standing on bare earth without a foundation? Your compost bin deserves a solid foundation too. It keeps the whole system safe and stable. Mistake number 5, dumping wet scraps directly without balancing them. This is something I see often, especially in city homes. After meals, families collect leftover rice, soup, or soggy scraps, then dump them straight into the compost. The result? Overpowering odors, swarms of flies, and of course, rats. The problem is moisture. Wet scraps push the compost into anaerobic conditions, slowing decomposition and releasing a stench that rodents love. A small study from Australian scientists found that compost with over 70% moisture attracted far more animals than compost balanced at about 50 to 60%. The solution is simple. Mix wet scraps with dry carbon-rich materials like leaves, sawdust, or shredded cardboard. These soak up excess moisture and restore balance. Cutting veggie scraps smaller also speeds up decomposition. Let me ask, have you ever opened your compost bin only to slam the lid shut immediately because of the smell? If so, the issue may not be compost itself, it's our impatience. Composting, like life, requires balance and patience. Mistake number 6, not turning the compost regularly. Think of a big pot of stew. If you never stir it, the bottom burns while the top stays raw. Compost works the same way. If you don't turn it regularly, the lower layers build up, ferment, and produce nasty odors, exactly the kind that attract rats. A friend of mine outside Saigon complained about rat activity near his bin. When I checked, his compost had gone untouched for weeks. Some parts were bone dry, others slimy and rotten. That imbalance was an open invitation for pests. From a scientific point of view, turning the compost introduces oxygen, helping aerobic microbes thrive and break down material evenly. A well-aerated compost pile can reach 120 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 50 to 60 degrees, hot enough to kill harmful bacteria and make rats think twice. Leave it stagnant too long, and it turns into a safe haven for them. Have you ever ignored your compost for a month, only to open it and find flies, rats, and mold? That's the sign you need a shovel and a few minutes each week. Think of it as light exercise. Good for you and good for your compost. Mistake number 7, leaving the compost bin fully exposed. Picture this, a lone compost bin out in the yard, sitting under a tree. Sun beats down by day, dew falls at night. For rats, it's a giant marker, easy to find and easy to invade. I remember a story from a man in Hue. He was careful, no meat, lid on, base lined. But he left the bin right in a garden corner, no fencing or cover. Rats still showed up because it was too obvious. Once he surrounded it with wire mesh and covered it with dry leaves, the problem nearly disappeared. From a professional standpoint, covering the bin isn't just about rodents. It helps regulate temperature and moisture. Compost is sensitive. Heavy rain makes it soggy, harsh sun dries it out. A simple cover keeps conditions stable, reduces odor, and lowers the chances of attracting rats. Ask yourself, have you ever done almost everything right but missed one tiny detail that ruined your effort? Composting is no different. Sometimes a simple net, tarp, or layer of branches makes all the difference. Closing thoughts. So we've walked through the 7 common mistakes that attract rats to compost bins. Adding meat and fish, leaving the bin uncovered, placing it too close to the kitchen, not lining the bottom, dumping wet scraps without balancing, not turning it often enough, and finally, leaving it too exposed. Each mistake is a small lesson, reminding us that composting isn't just about recycling waste. It's an art of green living, requiring patience, mindfulness, and a touch of life philosophy. Think of compost as a metaphor for life itself. If we rush, cut corners, or only chase convenience, the result can be disorder, foul smells, and unwanted problems. But if we care, pay attention, and make thoughtful adjustments, the outcome is fertile soil, nourishing plants, clean food, and a healthier home. Have you ever opened a compost bin and inhaled that sweet, earthy smell, feeling a quiet joy deep inside? For me, that's the moment I feel closest to nature, to the earth, to life itself. If you want that same experience, start small. Close the lid, skip the meat scraps, turn your compost often. And above all, be patient, because compost, like life, needs time to mature. Thank you for watching until the end. If you found these insights helpful, please hit like, subscribe to the Compost channel, and share this video with anyone walking the green living journey with us. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever made one of these 7 mistakes? And how did you fix it? Together, we learn. Together, we live greener. Not just for today, but for the generations yet to come. Goodbye for now, and see you in the next video.